Andrew's just filling up with the expensive stuff. I'm on the Bateman, just turning around at the bottom of the yard. Another one that's gone solid in the bag. Just because you pay more for it, don't make it any better. Got my spray sheets, got to rinse out first. My dad's doing the drying floor. Andrew's now spreading fertiliser, and Robin is fixing some bits from the chipper because it is still running, but something went through it the other day and did 5 shear bolts. So they're just sorting that out now, and then they can get a bit of chipping done. In a field, thousands of them, just completely eating it still. It looks like rain, there's that many. Bit of a traffic jam here to get in and out the yard. Just at the shore now, we've got a field of barley here that's looking very, very yellow. So it basically is hungry. So it's had 75 kilos of urea this morning, which is perfect because it's nice and cold. That should get washed in on Wednesday, and now I'm going to put some manganese on it, and that should perk it up. So hopefully the next time we come to this field, it should look a nice green colour rather than the yellowy and hungry look. Little bit of a window on the world. So there is the current CF fertilisers plant, totally inactive, nothing coming out the chimney. And apparently over there is Stanlow Oil Refinery, and there's supposed to be 2 ships full of Russian oil that they're refusing to unload. I can't see them. Yeah, interesting shoreline. Does anyone know how a bin lid ends up in the middle of a field? Does it float? Does it come off the river? No, that's it. It's not rubber, it's plastic. It's probably just blown. This footpath here has sprawled as well. Sorry if it's a bit windy. That footpath's sprawling out onto the field, which is slightly annoying, because how this crop is now worth more than it's ever been worth. This field has no tram lines in it because we didn't drill them. So I've got it on the RTK now, which is basically stands for real-time kinetic or something. Anyway, it means that I'm driving in the wheel marks I drove in last time I sprayed this field. I just remembered, it looks like it's flashing the screen, but it's not really. And then if you look in the mirror, Andrew's behind me spreading fertiliser, so he's following the wheel marks that I'm making. He's got GPS on his tractor, but at least I've marked it out for him so he can see exactly where to turn in. You probably see the spreader sort of shutting its width down now as it gets near the end. He's just slowed down so he didn't hit the boom, which wasn't probably ideal. The spreader will adapt to the rate, but probably not quick enough. So I'll need to try and get a little bit ahead of him now. So I'll go down the next pass now. Press the pedal on the floor, that's the bleep. Steering's engaged. Push on a little bit harder with the joystick. This was after oilseed rape. A little bit patchy. The straw wasn't baled for ages because it came wet. But otherwise it's not a bad lot of wheat, to be honest. I'm just filling up now with water, put some trace elements in and some manganese. He's just here now to collect some beans. I think we're going to have about 10 tonne left that won't fit on this wagon, but the price of them's probably gone up, so that's no bad thing. It's just we'll have to pay a part load or run them in somewhere that'll take them. No aid coming in today, but I think it is tomorrow, and I think that's coming in on pallets as well. Dad's just loaded it up now. Off to a feed mill, I think. Homegrown protein. It's quite risky growing beans. They often don't grow very well in this country if we get a drought in the spring. But it means anything that's grown over here doesn't have to be imported from sort of South America. So you can see on the camera, but there's been motorbikes driving all over this field, and a shopping trolley's been dumped. And then you can see where this 4-wheel drive's been trying to drive on it as well. And they've wrecked that headland. This is after spuds anyway, it doesn't look too bad. Just the odd wet bit where the shear was lifting up on the spud harvester. folding out now to the last field of the day. Anyway, I've just brought it up on the screen, and what kind of shape is that? It's absolutely nuts, the shape of this field. There's only really that straight edge there, and it doesn't really line up with anything else. There's a small straight edge there. What would you call that? Is it a chess piece? You know, what would you say the shape of the field is? No one has claimed the trampoline, and the big tree that's fell over has been chopped up and stacked neatly in the verge, which is pretty good. But the trampoline came from over there because there's a leg off it over there somewhere. Good day spraying. Managed to get about 250 acres done on my own at the furthest block of land that we've got, because I could fill a tank up and just go for ages. It's amazing the capacity that it's got, and although it's quite wet, it didn't matter filling it up. So I think the first tank this morning had over 5,000 litres, and it didn't make any more mess than it would if it had a bit less in, because it's got them huge tyres on. Anyway, this is the birthday bump today. James Evans, Brett Reeder and Lisa Clark. A big 42, can you believe that? So that's actually Ross's wife, so he said make sure I mention 42, so I did. But no, it's brilliant, and it's all thanks to everyone that's watching this sprayer. I've got the capacity, and I've probably saved at least 2, maybe 2.5 hours today of running around on the road, because I've just been able to leave with big tanks and get blocks done. So instead of finishing at like 7, what time is it now? It's about 6. So instead of finishing at 8:30, I'm finishing around 6ish. Go and get me tea, go to Costco and get some stuff for the house that we rent out, because it needs toilet roll and stuff. Did anyone see this on the news this morning?
There's a warning from the boss of one of the world's biggest fertiliser companies that our reliance on that Russian product, combined with the war in Ukraine, could prove a threat to food supplies around the world. He's been talking to my colleague Emma Simpson.
We saw the UN food price index hit an all-time high back in early February. Half of the world's population gets food as a result of fertilizer, because plants, just like us humans, they need nutrition in order to grow, and fertilizer gives nutrients out in the field of the farmer. And if that's removed from the field, for some crops, they will drop by 50% in the first season. So it's a vital part of the food security for the whole world.
Do you think we could be heading for a global food crisis?
Yes, so for me, it's not whether we are moving towards a global food crisis, it's how large the food crisis will be.
The wholesale price of wheat already hit a record high last week, and it could go even higher. That's because overnight, Ukraine's government introduced rules to control and limit the export of wheat, as well as corn and sunflower oil. Ukraine and Russia actually account for around 30% of global wheat exports. The UK grows most of its own wheat, so we are much less reliant on Eastern Europe for it. But that doesn't mean that Britain is shielded from any global price hikes. And the other thing to mention, Dan and Sally, is, of course, the price of wheat goes up, potentially the price of bread goes up. That's on top of high petrol prices and on top of household energy bills. That squeeze on the cost of living just shows no sign of abating.
It's just continuing, isn't it, Ben? Thank you.
Anyway, it finally looks like government might start to wake up now to what we've been telling them about fertiliser security, about food security and all things like that. Sorry, I'm just looking where I'm going so I don't get run over. Coming around the bend. So it's strange times. Wheat is the highest it's ever been today. I think it went up £25 this morning, so it'll go up a bit, then it'll drop a bit because people take profit, then it'll go back up. I've still got 400 tonne left to price. I actually turned down £300 a tonne today because I just thought, well, no, it's got a long way to go, and it might even start with a 4 before long. And I kind of need it to, because fertiliser has gone through the roof as well. So I've just got to bide my time and hope I can fix a profit on this year to pay for next year, because we don't know what that's going to be either, especially the cost of fertiliser. Anyway, thanks to everyone that's watching today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, and don't forget to click like if you've made it this far. Oh yeah, and Olivia said, I always forget to say, click the link there to watch another video, or click over there to subscribe. Anyway, I've remembered.